Welcome back to Homesteading with the Zimmermans, where we work hard and play hard on our little corner of land in Iowa. My husband and I were born and raised Old Order Mennonite, or horse and buggy Mennonite, as some refer to them as. And although we are no longer part of that culture or community, we are intentional about passing on the old-fashioned skills of our childhood to the next generation. Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Homesteading with the Zimmermans. And as you can tell, we are getting close to Christmas and it is bitter cold outside. Temperatures are going to drop today until they are close to zero tonight with a wind chill or a real feel well below zero. It's windy and chores were not real fun this morning. I'm still trying to warm up, hence the extra layers. But that's okay. That's what we expect this time of year here in Iowa. So in addition to our regular baking, which is mostly bread, at Christmas time, I grew up always making a large batch of our favorite Christmas cookies. And then we would share those cookies with neighbors and people that we did business with. We would always give a plate to the mailman, things like that. And so it was always tradition growing up to spend a whole day baking cookies. And I know that my mom, that was their family tradition as well. So it has been a family tradition that I've been happy to incorporate into our Christmas memories. And it hasn't always happened all in one day because as the children got older and had jobs, I was left to, do some of the baking on my own. But now recently we have tried to make it work where they can all come home and we can bake cookies together. And so that's what we did. And I'm going to be sharing our favorite Christmas, all the cookies that we baked, all the cookies that we bake in the video. I'll be sharing the recipes in the description of this video. And it's not going to be your typical video where I do step by step to teach you how to, make the cookies. But I'll do my best. But simply because it was such a busy day that I was just filming and I was more present with the family, less intentional about my filming. But in the description of the videos, I will put all the instructions that you need to successfully make these cookies. And before we get too much further, let me do a little shout out to our sponsor for today's video. So Backwoods Home and Self-Reliance magazines, I always have to go search for them over the house when I want to talk about them because the family loves them and is always picking them up to read articles. And we all know, and we've seen the studies of how reading to children is very, very good for their comprehension and intelligence and curiosity, and that children that are read to overall do better. They're more successful. And I recently read something that they've done studies that reading something on paper from a book, you're going to retain, I don't remember the percentage, but you're going to retain a lot more information when you read something out of a book than if you read it from a screen, that you comprehend it better and you retain it better. Which, when I read that study, it just proved to me why I find these so valuable and why after, recipes online and articles that I want to save, after years of thinking that that was going to be where we were going to get our information, we are going back to the printed word. Like we're drawn back to getting our information from the printed word. So 50% off your subscription through the end of the year, I think. These make great gifts. Our family really, really loves them. So now we're going to dive into our cookie baking day, and it was It might seem like chaos to a lot of you, but it's exactly the type of things that memories, family memories are made of. It's that beautiful chaos of all being together, and you throw all these different personalities together. And in the link in my description, I'm going to also link my friend Chas, who was also doing a cookie making day, and she's going to have recipes on, I think, 3 or 4 entirely different cookies that are their family, traditional Christmas cookies. And so when you're done here, please hop over and watch my friend Chas's video for even more cookie baking fun. But let's dive in and get started with our cookie baking. So the first recipe that I'm going to make is sugar cookies, and I'm measuring by weight my sour cream and butter because I make that, at home, and it's not prepackaged. So I'm weighing my sour cream and butter for my sugar cookies. We really, really love this recipe. It stays nice and moist and fluffy, and yet you can roll out the dough and use your cookie cutters on it. So I made the sugar cookies the night before because it needs to chill in the refrigerator for, at least 3 to 6 hours. But I put it in the refrigerator overnight. And you see me using my Bosch mixer. I really, really love this mixer. It handles double and triple batches of things that I make. And I will put the link to this Bosch mixer in the description for you, along with the recipe for these sugar cookies. So I needed to use my dough hooks to finish mixing the flour into these sugar cookies because it's like I made a double batch, which was like 10 cups of flour, and the dough gets pretty stiff. But then I'm going to divide the dough into 2 equal parts and go smash it flat, and we're going to refrigerate them just like that. And that'll make it easier for us to get it ready or start rolling it out in the morning when we're ready to make cookies.
More than here. Well, this in the sides though. Oven, especially not this kind. White chocolate. And mint.
Okay, so our sugar cookie dough has been in the refrigerator overnight, and today is the day that we want to bake cookies. So I'm going to get started with making all the other kinds of cookie batter, all the other cookie batters. I'm going to start with the chocolate, and this recipe of cookie we're going to use for both the Amish hats and the peppermint kisses. So I always start with a little less flour than the recipe calls for. Especially because this recipe is one that I only make once a year, and then I bake a couple sample cookies, and then I adjust the recipe as needed. In this case, I ended up adding a little more flour because they were too flat. And nobody ever complains about having to eat the trial cookies before the rest of the cookies are ready. So the next kind of cookie batter that I'm going to mix up is the peanut butter blossoms. And oftentimes you'll see these cookies with a Hershey Kiss on top, but our family likes them better with a miniature peanut butter cup on top. So I did another run of trial cookies for the chocolate ones. This time I rolled them in a little bit of powdered sugar before I baked them, and I really like the way that looks. And my peanut butter ones turned out perfectly on the first try.
This is always a favorite day.
Next, we're going to get started on the chocolate frosting that we will need because this is what we're going to use to frost the Amish hat cookies.
That's how we did it with peeling. We always did it with peeling.
I'm gonna use this. I'm just gonna hold it like this and go.
Good. And this one. These two are what I'm gonna use.
So then finally, the big sisters arrive and it's time to start making the cutout cookies. Our dough has been chilling all this time, and now we're just going to start rolling it out. So your dough is going to be really hard to get started with rolling it out, but as soon as it warms up just a bit, it's going to soften. And the thing is, you just don't want your dough to be room temperature because it gets too sticky. And then if you have to add more or too much flour to help with your stickiness, and then your cookies get too dry.
Snowflake. Small no Christmas tree. Ding dong.
There gotta be angels here.
Yeah, we need to move those ones.
Snowman.
Yeah.
A star.
I want to make it.
We can just fill parchment papers with them too.
There's like barely any.
It's okay. Why were they good?
Hey, look! Fits in perfectly.
There's Tina and Winston.
Yeah.
Outside. We'll look outside.
Yeah, do the small ones now, please.
You have such double standards.
Winston!
I went, they went, no.
Yes, as close as you can.
I did.
Don't in SPS. Yes, as close as you can.
I did.
Don't in SPS. It would have just bumped him. Wouldn't have hit him.
Look.
Did you drop your toy? Should we get it?
Cookies, like shaped like people.
No.
Oh, yes, I have. And they make it look like a person.
And then they bake it and it's like 4 times as good. I gotta wait till these cool.
That's what I feel like with the gingerbread man.
Yeah, they're start out skinny.
Well, I guess that sounds.
Live out in the country somewhere. I'm waiting to have my phone again. I thought you were just taking a picture.
No, I'm taking a video. I'm filming this whole day.
Where's Johnny? Mitchell, thanks for getting the
You're
minis.
welcome. I got the minis. 'Cause
Yeah, that
I knew
was-
that usually you'd have to cut them otherwise.
actually bit a piece off. Oh, you're back.
Next, I'm going to make the frosting for the sugar cookies, and I'm using evaporated milk instead of regular milk in this frosting because it makes my frosting turn out. Evaporated milk makes a smoother frosting than regular milk does, and I'm sure it has something to do with proteins or something like that, but I like to use evaporated milk when I'm frosting sugar cookies because they turn out better. I'll have this recipe linked with the sugar cookies, but you'll want to remember to really whip up your frosting so that it gets nice and fluffy and smooth.
It's very squished. No, it's not, because there's going to be a big room so that we can fit both of us. Look at it. Well, I don't get this problem. Mom, this is a prize cookie. Look at that.
Beautiful.
The marshmallows, the little star. Six colors on one cookie.
Okay, well, that just proving my point then. We have willing helpers until they're not very willing anymore. They're off to do their own thing. Probably only got a few more years left for then soon will be winter.
Okay, I am, as the girls frost the sugar cookies, I am working on the Amish hat cookies. And when they're done baking, I take them out of the oven and I put half of a large marshmallow on top of each cookie. And then I put them back into the oven just for a minute or two to kind of, until the marshmallows kind of expand. And then I take them out and cool them. So then once the Amish hat cookies are cool, I'm just gonna frost them. And I'm going to link this frosting recipe because I like when the frosting is thin enough that it kind of runs down over the marshmallow. And these are a Christmas favorite of the whole family.
You want to give him his bottle, Vanessa, or should I? Or Mitchell can.
Are you hungry? I have to leave soon. Are you hungry?
So Elvin and Mitchell and Maxwell had been working in the shop all day. Mitchell had to leave to go to work, and we took some of Maxwell's favorite cookies out to him as a treat since he had been working hard all day in the shop helping his dad. Are they good? Are those your favorite? So later in that day, after, the peanut butter cups and the peppermint kisses and all our frosting have dried a little bit, and, gotten to the point where they don't stick together. Now it's time for us to package up the cookies for the freezer, because like I said in last week's video, when you are doing holiday baking for the freezer, as soon as your item is cool, you want to put them into the freezer. That preserves, the freshness for much longer than if you let them out until you're tired of them and then put them in the freezer. So our married daughters each filled a container to take home, and we packaged up all the rest for our freezer. You might be thinking that that is a lot of cookies for one family. But we won't eat them all by ourselves. We will give a platter of cookies to everybody, basically everybody we meet in the month of December. So we'll give some to the mailman and UPS delivery guys. We'll share some with friends, and we'll deliver some to neighbors. And I'll probably take some to the school and give some, to the classrooms. And I'll send some with Elvin to his workplace. So in short, only about half of these cookies will be consumed by our immediate family. All in all, I thought it was a wonderful day. We had a great time together, and although I was exhausted and very tired at the end of the day, I was happy to know that very likely our children now have another memory to add to their memories of Christmas cookie baking day, because memories is something that I can give them that will stay alive long after I am gone.